Hello there, YouTube. This is Mr. Gibson Guy with you. Today I'm doing a follow-up video on the most popular video that I have done. It has surpassed 277,000 views and brought my YouTube channel a long ways. But I am going to address one specific point from that video, and that was when I made the video. The whole point of the video was this. I had my Maverick. I've been driving it for about 6 months, and I kept getting contacted from my Ford dealer about bring your car in and trade it. We'll give you a really good deal on it. And so I just kind of took a step-by-step look at this and what was going on, and I came to the conclusion that for whatever exterior forces there were exerted on Ford, that Ford was selling Mavericks at a cost lower than it cost them to build them. And that was to explain why they just have waiting lists and backups for selling Mavericks. You have to wait to get on a waiting list, and then you get on the waiting list and you wait for them to build the vehicle, and then they eventually, hopefully, sell it to you. And of course, the normal part of industry would be, well, if you have a product that's popular, you make more of them. Not you say, oh, well, this is all we're going to make. We got to make a bunch of stuff that we have trouble selling too. So there has to be some external force acting on this, and I got so many people upset with that. That's crazy. Ford doesn't sell vehicles for less than it costs them to make them. They would go out of business. Well, I say that if there are certain mandates upon a company like Ford, that they will reluctantly have to obey and build a product and sell it for less than it cost them to make it. And so I'm you know, it's a year later or more, and now I'm going to go through and bring you the facts and what has transpired since then. I brought the receipts, so to speak. So I did a search on this, and remember, we're talking about Ford selling vehicles for less money than the vehicles cost for Ford to make, and Ford being mandated to do that. Now, the conclusion of that, or the continuation to the follow-up, would be Ford charges X amount of dollars for a vehicle. It costs them more, but if they raise their selling price to what it costs them, nobody would buy them. So they have to discount these vehicles a huge amount of money and sell them for a cheaper price, just so they don't lose as much. But the unspoken part to that is that one way or another, Ford is forced to sell these vehicles. The Maverick might cost them $40,000 to build, and they sell the base model at $20,000. So they're losing $20,000. If you know, I'm just picking example numbers out of the sky there. If they charged $40,000 for the base model and $60,000 for the Lariat XLT, they would have very few people buying them. The Maverick was popular, one, because it gets good gas mileage, but two, because the next highest Ranger was twice as much money. So people that wanted to get a smaller pickup truck and for light duty use, this was like a dream come true. It's only paid for by Ford's selling them at a loss. So I'm going to do this. I looked this up on Google, and this was just articles on Ford losing money, and this is on direct EVs, electric vehicles, that they have a certain quota that they have to pump out every year, supposedly, that they agree to the government. And this is not talking specifically about hybrids or Mavericks, but it's talking about Ford selling vehicles at a much lower price than what it costs them to make the vehicle. And I'm just going to go through here and just give you headlines and dates and publication. First here, Ford loses nearly $60,000 for every electric vehicle sold from May 2nd, 2023, and this was on the street. Then Car Scoop, Ford is losing almost $60,000 for every EV it sells. May 7th, 2023, Ford is losing almost $60,000 for every EV it sells. Energy Policy Institute of Chicago, is Ford losing $60,000 on every EV? Ford sold about 12,000 electric vehicles in the first quarter of the year. Ford's EV unit, which it calls Model E, lost $700 million on those vehicles. So that can be a lot of vehicles. The Motley Fool, Ford loses this whooping amount of money on each EV. NPR, Ford is losing a lot of money in electric cars, but CEO Jim, and it trails off, so they're trying to spin it here. Here's a video. Ford lost $32,000 on every electric car it sold on quarter two of 2023. Then I can't believe now how much. Ford loses a crazy amount per EV, cuts Mach-E prices. So they're losing money, and they had to lower the prices they were asking to sell those silly Mustangs electric. Ford's set to lose $4.5 billion on electric vehicles this year. That's Fox Business. Fortune, Ford earnings report projected $4.5 billion loss from its EV, July 28, 2023. Auto Revolution, Ford Model E division lost $60,000 on every electric vehicle. Reuters, Ford again warns on EV results, withdraws 2023 forecast. That's what they present to their shareholders. They're saying, what kind of business are we in? Then Team BHP.com, Ford is losing almost $60,000 per EV it sells. Quora, why does Ford lose $60,000 on each electric car it builds? Robert Bryce on Substack, Unplugged, Ford lost $72,762 for every EV it sold in quarter two. That's from July 27th of this year. CNN, Ford loses $3 billion from EV sales to consumers. Ford loses nearly $60,000 on every electric vehicle sold. Lease Hacker, another CNN. Ford EV losses climb, but overall profits rise. So they made money up somehow, selling regular cars. Anyway, I just put this up, and I'm going to put a link down in the bottom of this video to my original video. Ford wants my Maverick back, they can't have it. That was the title of it. And I think that we've pretty much established that Ford does sell vehicles for a lot less money than it costs them to make it. This is not just made up stuff. And we didn't go into it, just headlines. Makes it very clear for all of those people who said, oh, they're not going to sell a car for more than it costs them to make it. Yes, they do. So, like and subscribe. Leave me a comment below on what you think about this, and what do you think the future is for the American automobile industry when the government is forcing them to make vehicles that they can't buy unless they give them away. Is that a good business practice? How does that affect U.S. industry and our economy in the long term? Tell me what you think about it, and check out my original video if you haven't seen it. I think I saw it had 17 views during the last 48 hours, and it's a year and a half old. All right, well, thanks for watching, and until the next one, this is Mr. Gibson Guy, and I'll see you later.